This is the reason that you need a personal brand in publishing. When I first started in publishing, I was told that the waiting list for Bloomsbury Publishing, the creators of Harry Potter, their waiting list for an internship was 3 years long. And not only that, you were also just up against so many people, and lots of them are really, really good. And you're up against people that have just done English and love books and don't know what else to do. So it's not even just people that are really, really passionate. It is so many people that just look at publishing as an easy way forward from that point. One of the things that I think has really stood out to me more recently, now that I'm doing branding, especially for authors and publishing companies, is the lack of people with a personal brand in like the publishing profession. So whether you're a freelancer or you're working within a company, this is so important and it can help your career so much. And you should really, really invest time into building this. The one thing that I really want to help you understand is that it massively helps you to actually control the narrative. So it might be that actually you don't have a lot of experience. A lot of people first starting don't have a lot of experience, or it'll be the wrong kind of experience. So for instance, working on, say, academic titles is not going to help you get your dream job of working on children's books. So this is where you can actually start positioning yourself as an up-and-coming thought leader, actually someone that's really, really invested, who knows their stuff, who has analysed other books and worked out what is working, what is not, what is in the bookshops, and what is up-and-coming trends before they happen, things like that. It's really, really important that you're building those skills. And even if you have a job already, building a personal brand can massively increase the opportunities that you get. Now, this doesn't have to be people approaching you with job offers. It can just be the people that you are currently working with offering you the best projects. This could be the most expensive books they have on their list. It could be that it's the most complicated ones because they know that you're going to be a safe pair of hands, or even that they're trusting you with something that you haven't worked up to yet. So this is your first really big project. Just having that level of investment into publishing and growing and developing and consuming content, posting content, is going to position you much better against people that are not doing any of that. It also just builds trust and helps you to network. So you can start approaching other people. It might be in your company, it could be elsewhere in the industry. Try and get tips and tricks of like how they got to their positions so that it can help you. And it could be that actually you start doing podcasts on this and helping other people grow within publishing. These things can just position you so much better and really set you up for a really positive experience within publishing, and not to mention commanding higher rates, particularly if you're doing freelancing and things like that. Publishing is not a well-paid industry, and it's something that I think people really struggle with, because I think you are conditioned to kind of be grateful that you have won out over all of this other competition. And so many people make you feel completely replaceable. So prove that you're not replaceable. Prove that actually you might even get authors contacting you because you have such a strong presence on social media, that you have positioned yourself as the go-to within a particular niche. These things can massively help you in your career, because that's essentially commissioning. And if you're commissioning and you don't have a personal brand, you are shooting yourself in the foot, because you are having to approach people with ideas and you could just have these people coming to you knowing that you are the right person to help them and to judge if this book is viable. So I would massively, massively encourage you to invest in your personal brand if you haven't already, and really start making a name in publishing, because I don't think it's going to go anywhere. We just need to make sure that we're keeping up with the times and the industry is changing. So how can you go about building your personal brand? So the first thing you really need to focus on is why you were different. And this can be from your core skills. So this could be you're brilliant at editing or something of that nature, or you know lots about a certain subject. But it can also be more emotional and soft kind of skills to do with because you're so empathetic, you get on really well with the authors and you can create those connections. And then you can also go into, okay, what about my personal experiences, my life, make me the obvious choice? What do I have to offer that is really, really different? And you can start just creating lists and focusing in on, okay, which of these is strongest? And you can kind of measure that by almost working out if someone else could say it. If your competitor could say that, it's not a great positioning strategy. It's just working out what exists and how you can stand apart from that, how you can be similar with an edge, because you don't want to stand too far the other way either. You don't want to be the crazy person that people are not sure they want you in their office. It's all a bit of a balance of working out where on this line you want to position yourself. Then I would say you need to start discussing your ideas and being confident to express these online and not worry if other people disagree with you. It's really good to have a strong idea of who you are, what you believe, why you believe that, and just talk about it, drum up conversations. Just don't be aggressive if someone disagrees with you. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. It's just discussing these things works really well. It's a skill that you're going to need within publishing anyway. You're going to have to balance lots of ideas from different people. So it's a good idea to learn early how to express that and how to actually say that you think you're right and not be really pushy about it. I would also say that along those same veins is start publishing valuable content. So you don't have to go as far as writing a book or something like that, but I don't know, having your own website or having a blog, even just posting regularly on social media, especially things like LinkedIn or platforms that are seen as being a bit more professional, where the people that you're trying to work with are more likely to see you as an authority in building that trust. I wouldn't necessarily say that you need to start posting those sorts of things across your personal social media, unless you want to. And along that same idea is if actually you understand where your audience is and the types of people that you want to reach, whether that's you're freelancing and you want to get authors to approach you, whether it is that you're working in a company but you're looking for new opportunities and you want businesses to publishing companies to approach you. Just working out what you're trying to achieve with the types of content you post is really helpful to know upfront, because publishing for the sake of publishing is not necessarily a good thing. You should be working out, okay, I'm trying to build my authority with this post, I'm trying to start a discussion, I am trying to get work, I want to get the next size project, and those sorts of things. Then you can start to create ecosystems around other things that you offer. I mean, this is definitely more of an entrepreneurship kind of avenue that you're going down with this. So it works really well if you're freelancing. But then it might be that you're running workshops. But it could be that actually you're starting to do that with networking and things like that. So collaborating with other professionals is so helpful. Not only are you learning from them, but just positioning yourself as someone that really is interested and engaged within the publishing scene. It makes such a difference if people honestly believe that you want to be there. There are people that don't, and it shows. So then I would say, other than that, you just start to think of things as conversations, especially with authors, and don't just try and present to them, or you're trying to have a conversation with them. You're trying to work out, okay, how can I help you? How can I really get into this space? So all of these things are just building a certain level of expertise. Then you can start to go into more of the personality driven side of the personal brand. So this is going to be things to do with how you speak, and there's a certain level that you need to come to where you're writing for your audience, but you're injecting enough of your own personality to make it fun and engaging. After all, if you're posting things on social media, people need to want to read it. So the more that you can do with that, the better you'll position yourself. And obviously, if you're applying for writing jobs and things like that, it's going to massively help you to prove that you can write for different types of social media, for different environments, for different audiences. So just think about that as you're posting. The other thing I would say is with the collaboration kind of idea and the networking idea, building a community is really, really important, and it can give you so much support when you're struggling or you're feeling really downhearted that you're not getting the jobs that you want. And trying to give yourself a bit of a look is also a good idea. You don't have to be outrageous with that at all. It can just be that you're showing your face, you're showing who you are, you're doing videos. But think about, okay, do I prefer talking over something? Do I prefer doing live podcast style things? Do I prefer to just post static images? If I'm posting images, am I posting AI generated images? Am I posting more realistic images? Am I doing illustrations? What sort of style do you have? And you can have different types of imagery within your brand and your looks, but making sure that things kind of fit harmoniously and don't look completely out of place is really helpful. And even just selecting a color that you normally use can really increase recognition and memorability. So really consider that choice. And I would also urge you to consider not choosing a color because you like the color. This again will position you really well in terms of if you're doing design, or even if you're doing editorial, but you get to be involved in that kind of ideation process for covers and things like that. Having a good sense of what color psychology means and what would get people to buy versus have different kinds of emotions or make them angry and things like that. Knowing those things, even if you decide to break some rules, is really useful, and it just shows a lot. So focus on working out how you can show those really useful skills, and start to actually gather testimonials and things from people. Ask. So if you do an internship, try and get the actual person to leave you a review on, say, something like LinkedIn, because then their face is next to it. They've said that. It's very indisputable. And it also kind of, they must stand by what they've said if they do that. So that can be a really good way of building those relationships and just giving you a really strong foundation to be I have this experience, this person thinks I did really well. It's very, very useful, and I wish I'd done more of that before I started out on my own. So the main thing is just don't wait around for things to happen to you. You can start building a brand and giving yourself experience, even if you haven't gotten into the industry yet. And even if you are in the industry and want to go into a different role or a different a different type of publishing, so you want to move from academic to children's, say, that really helps, because you can start to do case studies and things like that that just give you a bit of an edge, give you more of an understanding of that new industry, and it will help you in interview situations. It might mean that actually you start publishing that sort of content, and people interested in that or already working in those sorts of industries or those types of lists are then commenting on your posts, which means you're building relationships with people that already do that, which means that you can then reach out to them for help. It's just building a network of things that really, really supports you. So go build your personal brand, and I am sure you will not regret it.